Good morning viewers. Today in 10th standard we will going to see chapter number 9, that is heredity and evolution, right? So as per the guideline given by the board, there are certain reduced topic which you don't need to do for your board exam. So as per that, if you are going to move, then in this chapter the first topic has been reduced, so that you don't need to do, and the topic name is accumulation of variation during reproduction. So that is the first topic of this chapter which has been cancelled out. So we are not going to start with that topic, but it is a starting topic which has been cancelled out. So some terminology which is given in that topic we need to understand, because that terminology will going to use throughout the chapter. So that is only the reason we have to see the introductory portion from that paragraph and the basic terminology which will be useful for us in this whole chapter, right? So let's start with that basic terminology. But before, the name of the chapter is heredity and evolution. So there is two terminology, one is heredity while one is the evolution. These two terminology we are going to study in detail through this chapter. So first of all, let's start with the basic terminology. So first is parental generation. There is a terminology parental generation which is indicated by capital P. So what is the meaning of that? So the first set of parents crossed is called parental generation. It means, suppose if we are going to take the example in case of a plant, then suppose there are two species of plant which will going to be crossed reproduction, right? Then that is called F1 generation, but it is called parental generation. It means, suppose you are having the two species, one is called A species while one is called B species. First time it will going to be crossed for the pollination, right? And the generation will going to be produced, that will be considered as the first generation, and the two species which will going to be crossed for the pollination or the reproduction is known as the parental generation, right? So the first species which is going to be crossed for the reproduction or pollination is called parental generation, which is indicated by capital P. Now next is first generation, F1. Now the meaning of first generation, it means in above definition we have seen the two species crossed for the reproduction, and the generation which is going to be produced, that generation is called F1 generation of the first set of parents, right? So the first generation is the generation which is going to be produced by the parent generation crossed pollination, right? Okay. And उसके बाद जो generation produce होगी F1 के बाद, that can be considered as the F2 generation, right? Okay. So the definition of F2 generation or a second generation is all the offspring from F1 generation. मतलब कि जो parental generation में से produce होता है, that is F1 generation, and F1 generation में से जो produce होती है, that is called F2 generation in short, right? Okay. So after doing the basic terminology, we will start the main topic of our chapter, that is called heredity. So basically, what is the meaning of heredity? So if we are going to define it, then heredity means transfer of characters from parents to offspring. It means whatever the characteristics we are getting from our parents is called heredity. If we are taking example, then we are having the example like our height, our average height, then after our skin color, our hair type, whether it is a curly, straight, then color of our eyes, whether it is a black, brown or what, right? So these all are the basic characteristics which we are getting from our parents, and that what called the heredity, right? So in our routine language we are saying that ये अपने पापा जैसा दिखता है या मदर जैसा दिखता है. So in terms of heredity we are talking here that उसकी हाइट उसके जितनी है, या तो स्किन कलर उसके जैसा है, या तो हेयर का जो टाइप होता है वो उसके जैसा होता है. So on the basis of that in our routine language we are using these terms, right? So that what we call the heredity in terms of science, right? Okay. So hope so you have understood the heredity by taking certain examples. Now if we are moving to the next topic, then inherited traits. Now the next topic is inherited traits. See, traits means what? The things, basically not things but the characters which we are getting from our parents. It is called trait. Like suppose my height is just like my father's height, right? Examples जैसे आप ले तो that what called the trait which I am getting by my father, right? So trait means here a basic characteristics that you are getting from your parents. So in terms of science we are calling it trait, right? Okay. So inherited trait. So the trait that you are getting from your parents, that is called the inherited traits. So inherited traits को define करें. So in a sexual reproduction, the father as well as the mother contributes equal amount of genetic material to the child. So here we are not exactly look like our parents, right? We are not exactly look like our parents. मतलब कि कोई आपको मतलब कि आपके पेरेंट्स को देख के या तो आपको देख के ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता कि एग्जैक्टली आप अपने पेरेंट्स के जैसे दिखते हो. उसके जैसे दिखते हो मतलब अलग है, एग्जैक्टली उसका जैसा हो वो मतलब अलग है, क्योंकि देयर आर टू parental participate in the reproduction, right? And because of that reason what happened, there is a certain amount of father genetic material, there is a certain amount of mother's genetic material, and from that which trait will going to be overcome in you and it can be identified in you, right? So we are not exactly look like our parents, but yes, some of the inherited traits we are getting from our parents. Here in your textbook you are having one activity. As per this activity, if you are going to observe the earlobe it means here, some of the having a attached ear with the cheek, गाल के साथ attach होता है, right? And some of they are having a separate ear bone, right? So if you are going to observe your ear bone and your parent ear bone, then you will get to know that whether it is inherited or what, right? So these are the examples of the inherited trait. Okay. Now next topic is the Mendel's contribution. So there is a scientist whose name is Mendel's gives some contribution in the inherited traits, in the identification or in the observation of the inherited traits, right? So Gregor Mendel, his full name is Gregor Mendel. So let's see what the contribution Mendel does do. So first of all, Mendel studied garden pea plant for the expressions of the characters, right? So for the inherited traits to study, he has taken a garden pea plant, मटर जिसको हम बोलते हैं, right? So he has taken the मटर plant for observing the trait कि कौन कौन से trait है वो F1 जनरेशन में पास हो रहे हैं, फिर F1 जनरेशन में से कौन से trait है जो F2 जनरेशन में पास हो रहे हैं, right? So for this he has taken the green pea plant, right? Okay. So now the character under study was the height of the plant. Pure tall plant he is indicated by capital T, 2 capital T, and pure short plant he is indicated by small t. It means there are so many characteristics in the pea plant, right? So which characteristic he has chosen for his study? So he has chosen height of the plant for his study. So he has indicated pure tall plant as capital T while pure short plant by small t. Okay. Now he has started studying that plant. So first of all he has done the cross pollination between parent generation plant. So now you know what is the parent generation plant, right? So first of all he has done the cross pollination between the parent generation plant. So all the plants of F1 generation were tall as of P generation. मतलब कि P generation में उसने दो तरीके के प्लांट लिए थे, एक जो है वो टॉलर प्लांट लिया था जबकि दूसरा है वो शॉर्टर प्लांट लिया था, और उसके बीच जब क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन करवाया तो F1 जनरेशन में जितने भी प्लांट प्रोड्यूस हुए वो सारे प्लांट कैसे थे? टॉलर थे. all the plants are taller. Now, why there is no one plant is short? The reason behind it we'll going to study in the next topic, in which the topic name is how these traits get expressed. ये जो trait है वो express कैसे होते हैं वो हम next topic में उसको study करेंगे. तो यहाँ पे हमने क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन स्टडी किया, उसके बाद हम सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन भी स्टडी करेंगे. तो सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन F2 जनरेशन में कितने शॉर्टर प्लांट होते हैं, कितने टॉलर प्लांट होते हैं, और क्यों शॉर्टर प्लांट शॉर्टर प्लांट कम होते हैं जबकि टॉलर प्लांट ज्यादा होते हैं. सो दैट ऑल द रीजंस वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी इन आवर नेक्स्ट वीडियो. टिल दैट, स्टे सेफ एंड स्टे एट योर होम. थैंक यू व्यूअर्स.